Alright guys, here we go. Blitz World Series action coming at you here in the Pro Division on the Prime map. Blitz World Series event number 12, the 1-year anniversary event. So we got our 3rd and 4th place game right now. We got Kwos in yellow on the left. We got Latof in red on the right. We actually just ran the championship right before this, but the YouTubers don't know that. We're going to run these videos in the order that they should be in. So if you guys in the chat could please not mention who won the championship. Last month you guys spoiled it for the YouTubers. You guys spoiled it for them. Please don't mention in the chat. If you do, I have to go in and edit it out. It's really annoying. I know you guys would probably actually find that entertaining to make my life difficult, but please don't do it. Speaking of YouTube, if you're watching this, enjoying the content, like, comment, subscribe. It's free for you. Helps me immensely. Get this content in front of more people and slowly get Red Alert 2 to take over the world, which is obviously the goal here, RA to the moon. Soviet versus Soviet, both guys opening their flat cans to deal with these pesky? Is that the word? Pesty Eagles? That doesn't sound like a real word to me. Pesty for some reason. Yeah, the Eagles, Soviet versus Soviet. The Eagles chipping away at your Rhinos can be all that you need to swing the points early on here when it's just Rhino for Rhino, essentially. So both players out with the flat cans trying to protect their armies. If you shoot down one flat cannon, it's, already pays itself back. The Eagles are 1,200 credits. The cannons are 1,000. Alright, now, Soviet versus Soviet. Latof and Kwos. Let's think about this one. We do have a prediction up. We'll see what you guys think with your channel points. I'd have a hard time. The problem is, it's always a tricky position with players like this because you don't want to bet against either of them. Like, I like betting on Latof, I like betting on Kwos. I don't want to bet against either of those guys. Gun to my head, let's just go. I never can force myself to answer this unless I do the thought experiment. Gun to my head, I die if I'm wrong. I have 10 seconds to decide who's going to win the series. Latof. I got to go with Latof. I got to go with the Deso King. He's already won he's already won a Blitz World Series title. So I think, obviously he's a higher ranked Blitz player, and I think that's where I'd have to put my money here. Although I never feel comfortable betting against the Death Robot. That is for sure. That is for sure. So massing the fodder, massing the Rhinos. Wait, did I say did I say their cool intros? Did I say Latof out of Kuwait? Did I say Kwos, Death Robot out of Jordan? Did I even say that? We're all over the place today, boys. We're all over the place. Hope you guys can forgive me. Conscripts and dogs and Rhinos. Surprised to see both players massing infantry like this. When you got Latof in the game, you got to assume the Desolator's coming. And as I say that, Kwos actually goes Desolator first. Yeah, the Deso King not going radar. Very interesting. So now Kwos in with a Desolator, a couple Desolators, and a Battle App. Kwos gonna now try to slow things down here. Ooh, on the bottom side, nice split from Latof. Gets in. Now what's the target? Oh, the Battle Lab's looking juicy. Oh, and he just pulls out that bottom side. Just pulls out there. I'm surprised. A lesser man would have probably made the decision to dive and lost his tanks, but yeah, it's always, those decisions are always hard because I'm always like, dive! And then I'm like, no, you shouldn't have dove. Good idea. That's why you're in the 3rd and 4th place game, and I'm losing to Division 3 players in quick match. Alright, so Sentry Guns out. Both players now splitting nicely. Switching over to both halves of the map a little bit earlier than we've seen some of those games. Some of those games we saw before, we didn't even see. We've seen a lot of pro level games that don't even play the bottom side of the map. So interesting to see here. Now, ooh, we do see Latof pushing in from both sides. And now big engagement on this hill, kind of in a wacky spot. It's not a lot of Sentry Gun support here. And Latof just way ahead. Way ahead. Desolator's coming. Desolator's too late. Too late for the old Desolators. Latof way ahead now, way up on War Factories, way up on tanks, and blows through Kwos. I've asked Kwos before about the pronunciation of his name, and yeah, it's a made-up word. He's like, yeah, it's just made-up letters. He's like, they asked me for a username. He's like, I didn't think I'd be playing the game very long. I just put in random letters. So Kwos isn't a real name. It's not a real word. Well, at least not for him. So we can pronounce it however we want because he doesn't care because he made up the word. So that's where it is. It was funny, like early on I was like saying that, I'm like, so how would you like me to pronounce it? He's like, dude, I don't care. I made it up. Like, okay, Kwos. Allied versus Allied now, and now the wackiness ensues. Allied versus Allied. What shall we see? All right, Marco, we got Marco in the chat. Now, Marco, without spoiling anything for us here, without spoiling anything for the YouTubers, Marco, give me the breakdown of why you and Kian both didn't build gap generators. Marco and Kian, AVA, no gap generators were built. Was that a gentleman's agreement? Did you guys both agree to not build gap generators? All right, now GGI IFV's out for Kwos. Try to help deal with these Eagles. And Latof pushing in up this. Oh, we've talked about this cliff. You take so much damage going in that straight line. And we've seen that, man. This is the cliff of death right here. Seen so many players get their army strung out and pay massive prices, as we just saw Latof there. Oh, you didn't want to give him the idea. That was smart, Kian says. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think maybe we get rid of gap generators. I mean, normally I'm not trying to nerf Allied because they're already on the struggle bus versus Soviet, but Allied versus Soviet, by the time the gaps come out, it's kind of late game anyway. Allied's already in it, I think. All right. Oh, they do grab an AFC. So Kwos ahead on the AFC and is able to get all of his Eagles home, which is nice because Kwos, well, both players going broke now. So both players going broke, but Kwos has 5 Eagles, right? 5 Eagles. So Latof was able to save his Eagles, going to build another AFC here. Kwos out with a bunch of Patriot missiles. All right, so Latof saved his Eagles. Yeah, you got it. You're just going to have to keep building AFCs. Keep building AFCs. Oh, doesn't get that oil. Ooh, that's interesting. Because they didn't all hit at the same time, I think he started insta-repairing it. If your Eagles don't all... Yeah, if they don't all hit at the same time and you insta-repair, you can prevent 5 Eagles from getting an oil. It's kind of weird on this map, the way the Eagles all kind of come in different waves. Grabs an oil, grabs a barracks. What's he going to pay for it? 2 Eagles? Not so bad. Good use of those GGI IFEs from Kwos, though. You're giving Marco too much credit. I don't think we're giving Marco too much credit. I don't think that's the case. All right, so 5 Eagles, giving it high fives through the air. They go for the War Factory. Nice, hit for hit. Offensive pair drop back right. Rocky's over now. So Kwos has a decent Rocky advantage. Kwos going to come over the hill now. Coming over the hill, going to take a bite on that War Factory here. Does get it. Nice little hit and run. Tank's now strung out. And Kwos going to continue the push here. Ooh, no anti-air in that group, so Kwos is going to be forced to pull back. So both players with so much stationary anti-air, it's difficult for the Rockies to really operate anywhere except defensively. Ooh, does miss the MCV. Yeah, going for an MCV hit with Eagles against a pro player. It's really kind of not viable just because, you know, pro players are always going to make the Eagles miss. Now pushing in here, using the Rockies to chip down the Grizzlies, trying to get ahead on his ground army, which he does have an advantage on. Kwos pushing in, Latof trying to dance around here, trying to drag this one out, but it's not going to work. And Kwos in with a group of GIs from behind as well, but really no army left here for Latof, and Kwos taking home point number 2. It's been so interesting to see how oftentimes the mirrored matches go one and the other. Like, so oftentimes we start off these Pro Series 1-1. It's so interesting. Alright, so here we go now over to Allied versus SOS. We'll be swapping factions through the rest of the series now. So both players put one on the board, starting things knotted up. It is best of 7. Action rolling on. The action rolls on. Who knows what else we got planned today? I'm feeling pretty good today. It's pretty low energy yesterday. I was struggling. I'm actually still pretty sore still. But anyway, today, what are we going to do today? Something fun. We got that new map. Made a couple tweaks on the new map. Going to run some games on the new map. If those of you guys who missed it yesterday, we did run a Yuri game in Blitz. We did run a Blitz Yuri game. Berg put Yuri faction on this map. Berg versus Artie. We're playing some Yuri versus Soviet. That was pretty funny to see. It was pretty wacky. I'm not super familiar with Yuri. But there are actually some pretty action-packed games. I was worried about it being really campy, but they played well. Yeah, we got the new map to test out. So November, guys, we're going to be running another Blitz World Series event, the usual style, one map, play it throughout the month, divisions, you guys know the deal. Now, things are going to get interesting in December/January, the Blitz World Cup. Blitz World Cup, instead of one new map, we're going to be playing the 5 most popular maps. Ooh, does grab that Eagle. The Eagle was trying to get off the pad, but shot down just in time. It's a pretty nice hit for Kwos. Latof now with his Rhinos and Dogs going to try to look for an opening here. Kwos only out with 1 pillbox, trying to be a little bit frugal. He's out with a very early AFC, so doesn't have the money to spam pillboxes. We'll see if Latof can make him pay for that. But yeah, so the Blitz World Cup, guys, top 5 Blitz maps will be being played in all games. We'll have all the different divisions as usual, but we'll also have some fun events. I'm going to make we're going to do a 3v3 tournament. We're going to do a 2v2 tournament. We're going to do a Big Betty tournament. We're going to do a King of the Nuke tournament. We're going to do it all. Maybe a zombie tournament just for Kane. Maybe a challenge map tournament for Kane. We don't know yet. Blitz World Cup, December, January. Like I said, mark off. The best thing to do is just mark off both months completely. Alright, so now Latof opening up the bottom side of the map here. Prism Tower out for Kwos. Try to slow things down here, but another Prism Tower on the cliff. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, if you can hold the backside with stationary defenses so that you can try to get a leg up with Grizzlies. Paradrop coming. Once the Paradrop's down, this position will be pretty nice here. Does pull a couple Grizzlies over as well. Yeah, so and that's what's nice. If Kwos can try to get Latof to overcommit Rhinos on the bottom, you know, then he can potentially out-tank on the top side. Yeah, interesting to see Latof kind of building towards the bottom side here. We haven't, like I said, some pro games we've seen players completely neglect the bottom side of the map. Does get over, grabs that Prism Tower. Latof paying quite a few Rhinos here. Service Depot on the front lines. Might have to go back and juice those guys up. These Grizzly numbers getting to be a bit scary. Although, to be fair, Grizzly numbers, how many Grizzlies does it take to really be scary? That's the question. Another Prism Tower does go down. And Kwos has the money to keep buying them, though. Grabs a War Factory. Nice hit. Couple Eagles go down, though. Latof on 4 War Factories. And no Desolator from the Deso King here. Yeah, I think we've seen Latof on this map. He's just really prioritizing massing Rhinos. He's not really looking to push tech, not really worried about the Desolators, especially against Allied. It's not as surprising because at the top level versus Allied, the snipers just completely nullify the ability of the Desolators to get much damage. Another War Factory goes down, and a nice spot there from Kwos. Only 1 flat cannon, only lost 1 Eagle there. And what do we think about these Grizzly numbers on the top side? Can Kwos push right now? Kwos could potentially push. Latof's been working for the last 3 years on this bottom expansion. Does finally get the oil. Alright. 5 Eagles now. Gonna grab another War Factory. And so Kwos doing a decent job just slowing down the Rhino Storm right now. Every War Factory hit, just trying to keep Latof's War Factory numbers, you know, basically in check right now. So Kwos could, Latof bringing in some fodder. Kwos could build just a couple snipers and use a massive fodder advantage here. Does bait Latof in a little bit. Now catches Latof a bit strung out. Catches a few Rhinos on the retreat here. And Latof, you see Latof just doing the calculation. He's up fodder. There's no sentry guns. Now 1 sentry gun. Oh, and Latof jumps up on the cliff to get some freak shots in. But he's heavily out-tanked here. You never know with Grizzlies. They can all start popping very, very quickly. And Latof not building sentry guns. He's on 5k. And the sentry gun support was not there in that battle. And still a massive fodder advantage for Kwos. Kwos rolling through with Grizzlies. And what a day to be alive, boys. Grizzlies are better than Rhinos. Now we all know. Grizzlies are better than Rhinos. Apparently. Alright, so now over to Kwos with Soviet here. And again, very, very interesting to see Allied, the Grizzlies just kind of bullying around the Rhinos. And in this case, you know, it's the point was the Grizzly numbers were far higher, right? And the reason for that is because of the Eagles. And we've talked about that on this map. Those 5 Eagles, having to only go 1 AFC to get your 5 Eagles out and start sniping War Factories to control the War Factory push from the Soviet player is so critical for Allied. And I'm actually kind of excited to see that. You know, we've talked about it before, trying to you know, get things to be more Allied favored, you know, on certain maps without just making them camp friendly. I mean, if you want to make an Allied friendly map, it's simple. Add 2 bridges, blow them both up, right? The Allied player can mass Eagles, the Soviet player has no chance. So to make a map where we can get the Allied player to be more of a threat without making a map that's super campy. And this map's not really super campy. Ultimately, it's the 5 Eagles for the Allied player is so critical. And then, of course, potentially early GI value, although we haven't really seen that to be so much game ending at the higher level. It's mostly been at the lower levels. But yeah, the 5th Eagle's definitely what's helping, and it allows the Allied player to mass their tanks and slow down the massing of the Soviet tanks. It's really as simple as that. Now, the counter to that, you got to think, is pumping a ton of anti-air. But at the same time, if you build 10 flat cannons, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of power, and that's going to slow down your build as well. And obviously, for the Soviet player, the biggest thing is trying to get value early on before the Allied player can get those Eagles out. And on this map, the Eagles just come so fast. Okay, so yeah, we'll see. So on next month's map, yeah, there's next month's map's gonna be it's pretty open. It'll be interesting to see. You know, I'm always trying to think of other things we could do for the Allied player. We've talked about doing a hospital so that the Allied player's infantry can have higher health, but there's some interesting unintended consequences that can happen with that. Now, Kwos pushing up the hill here does get on flat ground on the top side, which is nice, but beautiful Prism Tower from Latof. That's why he was delaying a little bit there, and he's still using his Eagles offensively, which is surprising to see. Surprised to not see the Eagle trying to chip away at the Rhinos. 4 Eagles now, not enough to get a War Factory or an oil. Does grab a power plant, puts the flat cannon offline. All right, so now he's got his 5 Eagles, and it's time for Latof to go to work here. Wait, am I saying these names completely wrong? Am I saying these names completely wrong right now? Wait, damn it, Latof in red. Did I mix these up? Kwos. Wait, Kwos is in yellow, Latof's in red. Oh my god, sorry guys, I'm tired. Anyway, Latof in red with Allied, Kwos in yellow with Soviet. Yeah, I'm sure I was saying those wrong. I don't know why. It's my first game of the day I get so prepped for, and then my second one of the day I always fall a little bit behind. Can someone whisper Tommy the score so I don't have to, so you don't have to say in the chat, I don't have to cut it out of the video. Again, guys, this video is going to be posted on YouTube before the championship. Don't want to spoil it for the YouTubers. We don't want to spoil it for the YouTubers. Alright, so now Latof with a bajillion Eagles out. These oils are looking so juicy. If Kwos can backdoor, I think you got to go flak track and you got to go Crazy Ivans, I think. Ooh, oh, what are those Eagles doing? Oh, the Eagles were distracting. The Eagles were distracting. He wanted to get the battle lab. So Latof sends a bunch of Eagles on the bottom, sacrifices them to pull the flak tracks out of position so he could get through and grab the battle lab. I'm not exactly sure. It did work. I think his plan worked. I'm not sure if it was a good plan. I'm not sure about the value of the plan, but it did work. Now, with that being said, the Iron Curtain, the nuclear reactor, and the Kirov are already out for Kwos, so Kwos looking pretty comfortable here. Thank you, Tommy. I will now go in and edit that out of the video. Good, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So funny, man. People are just so funny. Why, what, imagine just being like, I'm going to be unhelpful. I'm going to make this random streamer's life more difficult. I should get into that, I think. I'm going to try to get into making people's lives more difficult. Must be a fun hobby. Gap generator out now for Latof on the front lines here. So Kirov coming bottom, Kirov coming top. So the Iron Curtain, now the Desos, this is interesting as we get into a late game here. Iron Curtain's obviously critical. This Kirov I don't think is going to get much done. Yeah, the Kirov's going down pretty quick. Iron Curtain ready, Iron Curtain coming. Trying to push as far as he can before he has to use it. Now he uses it and pushes right in. He's got a split on the top side. But yeah, and Latof matches the split with Mirages. And Kwos essentially getting no value here. Goes topside, going to dive on the MCV, force shield out though. So the force shield out, so Kwos loses most of his army. So Kwos now has to pull back. So Kwos on 4 or 5 war factories. Kwos on 5 war factories. So now Kwos is going to gear up a Deso Bomb. The problem is with this many snipers, can a Deso Bomb work? That is the question. And it's very difficult. The snipers are going to auto-target the Desolators as soon as they get out of the flak track, so it makes it very, very hard. Now, we are going to see Latof try to get a little bit offensive here, putting those GIs in the middle and try to take out those Tesla towers. A lot of towers now from Kwos. You don't see those very often. It's a bit more viable, though, for Soviet in some positions, late game like this, especially, I mean, you're trying to hold a position, trying to slow things down and use your super weapons. Now, the big thing right now is Latof's base is looking so juicy back here. This would all blow up. So if Kwos could somehow get back here and dive on one of these oils, it'd be incredibly, incredibly lucrative. The problem is these Eagles just keep chipping away. Just keep chipping away at Kwos. Now another Kurov out. I'm not sure what the plan is with the Kurov. Now remember, guys, Latof is fully gapped up right now. Latof's fully gapped up, so Kwos doesn't really know what he's going into. He's going to try to split some Kurovs up, maybe. I'm surprised not seeing Naval at this point from Kwos. You know, you'd expect to see some Dreadnoughts getting involved here. Alright, so he tries to spell on the top side. Now, there is a Desolator in this group. Ah, the Desolator didn't get down. Does use the Iron Curtain on the top side. Now, any of these oils, it's like lighting a fuse. I think even that oil would be a pretty good chain reaction. Iron Curtain trying to do some work here, but again, doesn't really get much value out of that Iron Curtain. Alright, Kurov coming in. Oh, the Kurov's coming now from the top side. He's going to have to run with the MCV. And grabs a Prism Tower. Yeah, forces the MCV to unpack. Not really the value you need at this point in the game. Kwos now on 20k, Latof on 10k, so a lot of money in the bank. This is a bajillion Mirage tanks. I mean, basically, you have to... The Desolators have to get something done. And, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the meta. Marco's in here, so he can tell me how good of an idea this is. Marco, here's the new meta. Amphibious Transport Desolator. 12 Desolators in an Amphibious Transport. Then you Deso Bomb with the Amphibious Transport instead of the Flak Track. Is it possible that right now, Kwos could win this game with the Amphibious Transport Deso Bomb? Is that possible? Yeah, the nuke is out now. The nuke is out, and so Latof might feel like he needs to press here. Might as well just go Iron Demo Trucks. Great point. Trying to use the Kurov defensively now. Oh, the Prism Tank's way out of position for Latof. You want to keep those Prism Tanks in the back. They're like your artillery. They're fragile, they're slow, keep them behind enemy lines. And the Kurov is actually doing some pretty good defense right now. And Kwos, you gotta think, pretty comfortable just to slow things down here. 1 real minute left on that nuke, and that nuke is going to blow up Latof's entire base. We have not seen a nuke win a game at the pro level, maybe ever. Iron Curtain drones here are gonna do some work. These Eagles, man, the Eagles are just feasting right now. Yes, the Deso Bombs, without Deso Bombs, a tough position. But man, both players, very impressive from both players, just both like moving around, looking for options, trying different things. Oh, Desolator on the top side. So the Desolator does get down, doesn't get much done though. And Latof, so Latof, you know, obviously a tried and true Soviet player. He does not play Allied in traditional. And so you see Latof is leaving some openings here a little bit for the Desolators to get something done. Oh, quite a few Sniper IVs. I didn't see those. Oh, and the Mirage is now melting. Yeah, Latof's not liking the odds of the nuke here. Latof is not liking the odds for this nuke. So he decides to push in, and the nuke goes down. We're not going to see the nuke. Oh, the nuke's almost ready. Oh, the nuke. It was so close. Kwos goes for the back door. Going to try to dive on the MCV. He does have an Iron Curtain ready. Gets the Force Shield out now. Going to pull back. So he does have an Iron Curtain, but... Oh, 3 Prism Tanks still on the hunt. They force the MCV to go down. So Kwos loses MCV on the backside. Latof still with so many Mirage tanks. Kwos goes down. Latof wins. You got a wall in the nukes. That's a great point. The IC demo. IC flak bombs. Yeah, in those positions against an allied player, you got to have some pretty wacky stuff up your sleeve to crack through that allied shell. So now over to Allied versus Soviet in the other direction. You know what it is? You know why last game I kept saying the wrong names? I have a hard time with Latof. I have a hard time accepting that the Deso King can be the Allied player. I always think of Latof as the Soviet player. I think that's the problem. Okay, so Soviet versus Allied for Latof. Yeah, so I've been trying to run some mixed faction regular Yuri's Revenge games, and I was asking Latof, I was like, dude, you want to play like some mixed faction? He's like, no. He's like, I literally will not play Allied. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, the mixed faction, we've had some fun mixed faction games. The that Legend versus Marco mix faction was actually pretty fun. It's fun to see, but I realize it's hard to get guys who can really play all three factions. Like Kian versus Osama, they kind of just lost all of their unpreferred factions, whereas Marco versus Legend, even the times that they had their faction they didn't prefer, we still had some really close matches with some upsets. I think Marco beat Legend with Marco's. I think Marco's allied beat Legend's Yuri 1 point. Pretty interesting stuff in that one. I think Marco and Legend, though, it's hard to round up players that can do all three factions competitively. I think we'll just do it. We'll just do Marco versus Legend mixed faction every 3 days or something like that. I think that would suffice. I think that's what Balth needs. Balth, what do you think? Every 72 hours? I think that'd be pretty good for Balth. Now we shall see if Allied can continue the winning streak here. Kwos out. A little soft GI opening top side. Baits a couple sentries. Yeah, nothing too crazy so far, but Kwos, again, going to bring that early AFC on this map. Yeah, when you get a free eagle, you want to get your AFC out quick, and that's what we're going to see from Kwos here. Kwos needs to be a little bit careful. He is going to start bottoming out his money as his 4th eagle, or his 5th eagle comes out here. So Latof needs to get the anti-air up ASAP. Latof with some very scary builds so far here. These oils are looking pretty problematic. That one would take a War Factory. Those oils would chain react. So Latof going to need to be a little bit careful here. It's one idea against an allied player maybe is to kind of posture up on the map early on and try to take some more real estate, which I think is scary. You know, you see these Soviet players are building like this to avoid the early GI rush, but then late game, they have themselves kind of in this nutshell build where they don't really have enough space to protect themselves from their own oils. I just crushed Osama's dreams. No, we have the Yuri faction on this map. We're just testing some stuff out. The Yuri's not going to be in the tournament next month. We might do some, like, I think it'd be fun to do like some single day events and stuff with Yuri. It'd be a long time before we were able to add Yuri in as a competitive faction because we don't know how it would play. All right, Rhino's pushing in now behind enemy lines, but are getting a little bit engulfed here by these Grizzlies. Prism Tower's doing work now as well. Kwos did have a nice group of fodder in that mix, really helping him out. Conscript's not getting anything done here, and Grizzlies blowing through. Hey, and today is the day for Grizzlies, boys. What a day to be a Grizzly tank driver, huh? Yep, very nice from Kwos. Good unit control and good spot on the top side. Able to get in there and just catch Latof a little bit strung out there and really made him pay the price. Eagles downfield, grab a War Factory, and Latof in a tough spot. We do have a disappearing War Factory on the top side, which is always fun. Eagles coming in. Ooh, those 3 Eagles on a scenic tour. Gonna try to get that battle app. Not gonna work though. Pays 3 Eagles for nothing. So Kwos, pretty good spot with his economy right now. Snipers, GIs. Oh, he's gonna try to get offensive with these GIs. Now a Desolator out, but the sniper. Oh, the snipers are way out of position. So that Desolator's gonna do work here. Yep, and it wasn't backing with those snipers very effectively there from Kwos. Now those Desolators will be going down. Okay, so the Kirov so far uncontested. No anti-air out for Kwos at the moment. Ooh, and builds a War Factory, almost baiting that Kirov. Gives up 1 War Factory for free. So that Kirov's going to force the sell on that War Factory. Andrei with the follow. Thanks, buddy. Sandstorm with the follow. Thanks, guys. Grabs 2 War Factories. Yeah, decent little hit. But yeah, things still looking tough here for Latof. He's on 8K. But this is a scary amount of Grizzlies. Latof not really spamming the sentry guns the way you'd think he would be in this position. Now Paradrop coming in as well. The GI's doing work, and we're just not seeing sentry gun support from Latof. A bit surprising in this position. He does have the money for it, but Latof is able to hold this position. Needs to be careful. These GI's just chipping away still. Very nice from Kwos there. You know, to be able to manage both GIs and Grizzlies in that position. Those GIs are doing getting a lot of work done. Batch of snipers behind to protect is always nice. Dreadnought's out now for Latof. I didn't see that. IFVs go offensive on the bottom right. IFVs getting offensive is always a little wacky. So the Dreadnoughts grab 1 oil. The Dreadnoughts are going to grab another oil here, you'd expect, although the IFVs can counter. So we'll see if Latof can support this Dreadnought and get some offensive value out of it. Latof really hasn't gotten much offensive value this game, and he's going to need to get something going quick. Does grab another oil. Nice force shield to save the Iron Curtain. The problem is Latof is so forced into this corner right now, and it's making him so vulnerable to these eagle hits. Alright, so the Dreadnought does clear out the bottom left expansion, which is nice. But they're going to have a hard time getting too much else done with these IFVs. Kirov out now, bottom side from Latof. Eagles in. Oh, saves the Iron Curtain. Oh, that Iron Curtain was down to 1 tick. That Iron Curtain was down to 1 tick. And Latof is going to get the Iron Curtain off now. Flak tracks in to defend the Rhinos. So Latof needs to gear up a big punch here. He knows that he needs to get an offense going. Can the Kirov grab this oil? It cannot. Dreadnought still on the bottom side. Lots of Grizzlies on the top side. Kirov now on the top side. And Latof sitting on this Iron Curtain. Sitting on this Iron Curtain, trying to decide what his best value is right now. It's hard to say. Can he try to punch in? There's no force shield. Ah, Kwos is on no Battle Lab tech at this point, just massing Grizzlies. Must have seen how well Marco played the Grizzlies, and now Kwos wants to do it too. Everyone wants to be like Marco. All right, so Latof's going to get down and try to support these Dreadnoughts, which I think is a great idea. It's one of his only offensive tools at this point. Grizzlies on the top side. Are we going to see a defensive Iron Curtain? We do see a defensive Iron Curtain here. We'll see what he can get done. Latof now with a nice split. Latof blowing through the top side with the Iron Curtain. Oh, that oil was so... Did Kwos just build that oil? Where did that oil come from? Now Grizzlies on the bottom side are coming. Can Latof hold this position? I don't see any Desolators. I don't see any drones. This is a shit ton of Grizzlies. Latof, you're on 18k. Where are the sentries? You could have 1,000 sentries, Latof. More sentries. Grizzlies pushing uphill now. Again, not much sentry gun support here. Latof now body blocking. He knows he's up in MCV. He uses his force shield, just trying to bait him as much as possible for Kwos to try to get some targets, some other things other than his tanks. The Rhinos are going down, but the Grizzlies are going down as well. Iron Curtain goes down. Oh, Dreadnought's still doing work on the backside, and no sentries here from Latof. No sentries in that engagement. Could have ultimately swung that for him. Latof now switching over to drones to try to slow things down. The Dreadnought's now out of range of the other buildings. They got some work done, but they're not going to get much else done now. Alright, so now these Grizzlies are all going to go down. Latof, let's do a head count. What's Latof left with? We do have an invisible war factory here as well. It's just a glitch, if anyone's wondering. Wow. Okay, so the dust has settled. Now, here's the problem. The problem is Kwos still has an AFC. If this AFC was down, it'd be a very different position here. I think Latof... Ooh, now the Dreadnoughts are going down. Doesn't really matter about the Dreadnoughts. The Dreadnoughts did what they could. Both players down now an MCV, and what a wacky game this has devolved into here. Grizzlies are mysteriously strong on this map. Yeah, it's funny. Well, when you get the best players in the world doing something, they tend to make it look a lot different. In the Final Four every month, like all month long, all of a sudden you get to the Final Four, you realize these guys are playing chess. We're all playing Candyland. That's the reality. Now the 5 Eagles, another war factory goes down, and these Eagles can just keep chipping away at the war factories. Latof not even really trying to defend his war factories. What can be done in this position for Latof? What's the winning move, right? So Kwos. Both players essentially on funny money, right? Kwos on 5 wars, a barracks, and an AFC. If he didn't have a barracks, a little bit better for Latof. If he didn't have an AFC, much better for Latof. If he didn't have an AFC, Latof doesn't have a barracks, is the problem. Latof has a radar, but no barracks. So no Desolators. It's a really, really tough position for Latof. Yeah, and the GIs, because there's no Desolators, right? So the GIs can do work. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Eagles are really, really difficult right now. Latof just doesn't really have an option. He can just keep diving those Eagles and taking out the war factories. Yeah, just not much of a winning move here for Latof. Very unfortunate position, and the position's only getting worse for Latof because more and more infantry are coming in. I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing to be done. I mean, you delay that Eagle hit. The Eagles eventually will crack through. Even if they don't, though, Latof, yeah, there's just not really. So here's the move. Here's the move. And so I was saving this one. I didn't want to show it to you guys until I got into the championship with Marco. Here's the move. Drone bomb. You put drones in flak tracks. You drive the flak tracks into the Grizzlies. GG, easy, no re. Another War Factory down. Oh, transports. Amphibious transports. I think you're right. Amphibious transport drone bombs. Marco, that's a good question. It all starts with basically I just stay up all night. I sit up on my roof. I chain smoke cigarettes until 5 a.m. And yeah, the good ideas just come to me. Okay, here's the thing. The desolators in the amphibious transport, 12 desolators in an amphibious transport, that is actually an OP tactic. That's one of those ones where Marco was like, Ivor, you don't, Ivor, ha ha ha. And then all of a sudden Marco was like, holy shit. That's actually a really good idea. Kwos has a bajillion grizzlies. Grizzlies pushing in. Grizzlies pushing in. Latof knows there's nothing left here. Not looking good. And what a day for the Allies. It's so funny, man. I can't wait for everyone to tell me that Allied's OP. It's like, I'm like, God, thank God Allied finally got a map where they could get something done, man. Allied's been on a struggle bus lately. Ever since the Brute map where everyone just GI rushed. The Brute? Wait, is it called Brute? Yeah, Brute. Yeah, Brute. Grizzlies pushing in. Grizzlies pounding through. Kwos takes it home. What a series so far. This has been a long one, boys. The action's still rolling on here. Alright, so here we go, guys. Latof, the Deso King now with Allied. I'm going to try to not say that wrong. Like I said, I just can't get out of my head. I always think of Latof as being the Soviet. So, Latof now with Allied. It is match point if Kwos can win it. So, Kwos with his preferred faction. Latof, generally speaking, in this matchup, Kwos, one of the best Soviet players in the world, versus Latof, having to use Allied. You would think it'd be in GG easy for Kwos, but Allied's crushing today. Allied's just crushing on this map. So we'll see if Latof can continue the Allied OP strategy for the day here and pick one up, bring us to a match point. Quick reminder, guys, again, next month we're doing this again. Every month we got a tournament for you guys, new map, cash prizes, divisions for all skill levels. Literally, you're thinking, Ivor, I haven't played this game in 20 years. That's great. That's what Division 5's for. RedAlert2.com, you can join my Discord, you can come hang out. It'll be a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Everyone's really nice. Most people are really nice. Most people are really nice. And of course, you guys got to start getting ready. Time to start practicing for the Blitz World Cup. Everything else has been a warm-up. The last 12 events have been a warm-up. The Blitz World Cup in December/January. That's what separates the men from the boys. The top 5 most popular Blitz maps being played, being contested for. My goal is to get $10,000 for prizes. Currently, I'm about $10,000 away from that. Currently, we don't even have enough money to get our November fund up, and that fund was only supposed to be like $200. But anyway, so I'm about $10,000 away. So if anyone has an extra $10,000 that they want to give me, we can put that up as a prize pool. I think that'd be a lot of fun. If not, it'll probably be a few $100s. Either way, equally exciting. It's not about the money, boys. All right, nice aggressive push here from Latof. Good bunch of GIs in that mix as well. And Kwos, yeah, Kwos just going to go downfield with these rhinos. And Latof without any pillboxes. Now a pillbox up. No pillboxes by the MCV. Kwos now behind enemy lines. Latof trying to hold the position. This time Latof is building pillboxes, thank God. Kwos jumps back down, grabs the War Factory. GI's on the backside, still doing work as well. Latof accidentally builds a wall. I'm sure that was a misclick. He wanted a pillbox. Don't build walls, boys. Don't build walls. Desolator out. So the GI push grabs a War Factory. Latof now down a War Factory. You'll see how quickly Latof can recover this position. He needs to get a War Factory out ASAP. War Factory out now for Latof. He's got 7K in the bank, and now you see the pillboxes coming, trying to hold on this position. Again, if Kwos can win this one, boys, he's sending them home, taking home that third place prize, the third place title, and those bragging rights. Of course, that's what we're all here for. All right. So now pumping GIs to try to hold the line. Latof doing everything he can to stay in this one. Latof now, his AFC's out. The 5 Eagles are coming. So Kwos, yeah, Kwos sees the Eagles. Maybe Kwos can try to make another push. Snipers take down the Desolator. So now we got snipers, GIs, and GGIs. Kwos opening up the bottom side of the map now. Try to hit him from some different angles. Latof already with a prism tower on that backside. See if you can get some more things over here. Kwos now shifting down to the bottom. Wants to get away from the GIs and the GGIs. It's a good idea. Kwos might be coming up this hill right now. 2 prism towers and Kwos with no fodder in this mix. And Latof just gives up the oil. I think that's a pretty good idea. Doesn't need to go down there and start wasting tanks. What he needs to do is hold the hill, hold the position, and start getting some value with these Eagles. Kwos with no anti-air at the moment. Oh, sorry, 1 flat cannon. 1 flat cannon, but he is hitting almost critical mass on the war factories. 4 war factories out. The rhinos are pouring out. Latof super slow to respond to this position. GIs and GGIs doing some work here. Prism tower out as well now. Kwos in the, oh, I thought Kwos was going to go backside. This is looking juicy back here. This is looking juicy. Latof can't really afford to bait this. I mean, if Kwos takes that bait, he might lose the game. Latof, but you see how the way Latof's playing here, Latof's just giving up buildings. He just knows he can get his offensive value with the Eagles. He just has to try to delay this game, make it go as long as possible. So every time Kwos comes in, he gives him a couple buildings. It's like a sacrifice. Here, take these. All right. Now, Kwos, this is a very dangerous section of the map for the attacker in this. We've seen him get in this bottleneck and lose many games before. Kwos bounces out. Battle Lab out now for Latof. Latof on 7K and a Battle Lab. He is low power for the moment. Back online. Now, 4 war factories, and the Eagles, guys, the Eagles controlling these war factories is devastating. The Soviet player just not able to quite hit that mass that they want to push through with these rhinos. And now Mirage is out for Latof, and I thought this game was going to be an early one for Kwos, but now in mid-late game here, you gotta think it swung back in Latof's favor. The Eagles are in the sky, slowing things down. Battle Lab tech now for Latof, so those Mirages are out to help with the rhinos, and yeah, Kwos's winning moves are kind of starting to dwindle here. Is definitely going to need to get a Battle Lab out, and I mean, you got to get an IC at this point, right? You got to get an IC. It's not really viable to not have an IC against an allied player like this, who's so comfortably tucked into their shell. Latof now, using a barracks to posture up a little bit on the bottom side, get a little extra real estate. I like that. His base is getting a little bit too claustrophobic for me. It was very defendable early on. He took advantage of that, but a little bit claustrophobic. 5 Eagles now. Just going to grab an oil. And Kwos low power right at that second, so doesn't lose any Eagles there. Okay. Kirov on the top side from Kwos. Latof without any anti-air. He's got these GGIs. And Kwos going to pour the Kirovs out. We've seen this from Kwos before. He's not afraid just to rack up a few Kirovs. A lot of players go 1 Kirov, and try to do something with it. But we've seen Latof with that game versus Artie, Kwos versus Artie had like 1,000. And Latof getting aggressive here with his Mirages doesn't really need to be doing that, right? I mean, he can just use his Eagles here. I think he's getting a little bit restless. Maybe he knows the Iron Curtain's coming. I'd love to see another AFC for Latof, but Latof actually does need to be very careful here. He doesn't have the money for infinite Eagles. And the Kirovs find an opening. The GGI's now up to try to help. These Kirovs are going to get something done. The first Kirov goes down, but another Kirov gonna grab a war factory. That oil could be pretty nasty. It goes down. So only gets a war factory for it. 2 no more Kirovs on the bottom side from Kwos. Kwos throwing the kitchen sink at Latof right now. I love it. Kwos now in the water as well. So expect the Dreadnought to be coming here. And there is an Iron Curtain now. Iron Curtain will be ready in about 20 seconds. Latof out, kind of trying to posture up in the middle, trying to bait an early Iron Curtain. You don't want to get caught with an Iron Curtain with them right in the middle of your base, obviously. And the Kirov's on the bottom, and again, Latof a bit slow to respond. Gonna lose at least 1 war factory here, maybe 2 war factories. There's now a V3 rocket launching. Oh my god, the V3 rockets are doing work. The V3 rockets destroyed at least 1 Mirage. That's the most I've ever seen a V3 rocket do in a competitive game. What a day to be alive, boys. What a day to be alive. Dreadnoughts on the bottom side, and Kwos coming at him from all sides. They takes down AFC with a full pad on it. Full pad of Eagles goes down thanks to those Dreadnoughts. And Latof, another set of Eagles would have been nice. Latov's having a hard time punching through with only 5 Eagles at the moment. And Latof now with these Mirages, Latof getting offensive with the Mirages. I don't think that's the move. You would need some Prism Tanks as well. Rhinos now coming to the bottom side to support these Dreadnought push. So Kwos now split up. Iron Curtain on the bottom side, so forces Latof out of position. This force shield's going to be so big here. So, and gets that's a pretty nice force shield. They're able to get the Battle Lab and the MCV. Very nice. The Dreadnoughts are a problem right now. This MCV could be... Oh, his power's offline. Oh, the Force Shield put him offline. The Force Shield put his Patriot missiles down. The Dreadnoughts are going ham right now. The MCV goes down. Oh, no. And now the Dreadnoughts melt. But, hey, they did their job, man. Plenty of value for those Dreadnoughts. Latof now out in MCV in a game that I thought, as we got into a late game, would be going in his favor. But what an incredible play from Kwos. I mean, so many players, you play this game enough. I mean, it's not like people, a lot of people online, oh, it's just Rhinos. It's not just Rhinos. But there is a book of very firm, hard meta tactics that are, viable at the top level. And huge hats off to Kwos here for getting so weird in this game. He's got V3 rockets, the Dreadnought push. Now that Iron Curtain baiting the Force Shield, well, forcing the Force Shield, right? Latof didn't really have a choice. If he would have lost it, he would have lost MCV. But then the Dreadnought hit, that nice 1-2 punch, absolute work of art. And now Kwos with a scary amount of Rhinos. But Kwos still, without, oh, he has another Iron Curtain ready here. Nice Iron Curtain, grabs about as many Rhinos as he can. Now just going to push right into these Mirages. Latof trying to hold his ground here and click down the tanks that aren't IC'd for the moment. Mirages are melting. Prism Tower's trying to slow things down. And Latof does hold that position, losing a lot of Rhinos, but Kwos can kind of just keep throwing stuff at the wall until something sticks at this point because he's up in MCV. 2, 4, 6. Oh, and now Latof's in the water. Now Latof has aircraft carriers, but there's Desolators and subs, which are going to make this difficult. Now the aircraft carriers are now targeting the Desolators. Oh my god, and there's V3 rockets on the top side. I don't know what's going on anymore, boys. Alright, Prism tanks now for Latof. He knows he needs to try to get a little bit offensive here. Gonna see what he can get done before that next Iron Curtain comes. Not much time on it, though. Aircraft carriers now can actually do some work on the bottom side now. So Kwos forced to rebuild his naval yard. Oh, the elite. The elite. The elite. Oh, it stays alive. It stays alive. Oh my god, the elite Prism tank up on the cliff. You'll love to see it. Oh my god, that nuclear reactor. He could get the nuclear reactor, put him low power. Oh, the Rhinos jump in. Don't let the elite Prism tank die. Okay, he did force an early Iron Curtain there, which is nice, but man, Kwos just keeps sending Rhinos in. Kwos now on 10k. Kwos in the belly of the beast on the backside. I'm so surprised to see Kwos not trying to make a dive on one of these oils. This is looking so juicy back here. Alright, so the naval battle, the aircraft carriers are AFK for the moment. I'm sure that Kwos is going to build some squids. Kwos builds an amphibious transport. Kwos just built an amphibious transport. So officially, this is the weirdest game we've ever seen in our lives. Amphibious transports, V3 rockets. What a wacky day, boys. Mirage tanks getting offensive here. Latof really needs to get some Prism tanks in this group. The Mirage tanks are just not the unit to try to be going in and blasting through an enemy base here. Okay, so the naval position gets pretty much locked up. We'll see what the amphibious transport's about to do. Maybe nothing. I assume it's a misclick. Every time something interesting happens normally, I'm like, oh my god, Legend, why'd you build the robot control? What was your plan? He's like, misclick. I'm like, oh, damn it. Okay. Okay, Rhino's now essentially uncontested, and another Iron Curtain coming. Could this be the one to end things, boys? Latof quits out. Kwos puts it on the board. Kwos taking it home 4-2.